Roberto De Zerbi is on his way to a brilliant manager career at Brighton, but how has his path ended up in the south of England? The Italian has been through scandals, bans, and war throughout his journey across Europe, and he's an interesting story both in Italy and in the middle of an ongoing war zone. The Brighton boss is a passionate and loyal man who's willing to sacrifice his life for his players. This is the untold story of Roberto De Zerbi, the master tactician who refused to leave the war in Ukraine. I was a crazy player. Roberto De Zerbi starting his playing career at AC Milan in the late 1990s. The offensive midfielder never broke through at the Italian club, and for the next 5 years he found himself in the second and third division of Italia. But in 2006 he was bought by Napoli, who the following year moved up to Serie A. De Zerbi left the club 4 years later with only 42 games to his name. His next chapter landed him in Romania, at the big club Cluj. He stayed there for 2 seasons and got to experience a league title in European football with the club. The Italian played against the likes of Francesco Totti and Roma, and last but not least, the mighty Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Unfortunately for Cluj and De Zerbi, the team got knocked out in the group stage, and he left the club in the summer of 2012. He wanted to get into the managerial profession, despite hating his coaches while being a player. I was a crazy player because I didn't love the rules. I didn't love a lot of my coaches. It was always a war with them. In the fall of 2013, he landed his first job in the 4th division in Italy. The road from here to the Premier League has not been an easy one. The Underdog story. De Zerbi landed his second manager job in 2014 at Foggia in Serie C, despite getting relegated with his first club, Darfo Baiorio. In the south of Italy, he managed to get Foggia from the 3rd tier of Italian football to the 2nd division before moving further south to Palermo in the Serie A in 2016. This is where his success story got a bump. He was fired just 86 days into the job, with the team dead last with 7 defeats in a row. The Italian took a break from football after that, until another Serie A team, Benevento, wanted him. The club ended up going down, but De Zerbi was praised for his offensive and possession-oriented football, a mix that landed him the job at Sassuolo. But De Zerbi only had one problem in the start of his Sassuolo career. He was banned from football for 3 months after his former team, Foggia, was found guilty of money laundering and tax evasion. Despite the early hiccups, the hipster club of Italy thrived under De Zerbi and brought them to 2 8th places in 3 years. He's known for developing footballing stars like Domenico Berardi, Manuel Locatelli, and Gianluca Scamacca at the club. In his last season at Sassuolo, he ended up only 1 point shy of a European spot. At the end of his stay at the club, the rumors of a Super League arose in Europe. His team beat one of them, AC Milan, in this period. He has since been praised for this quote after the match. "It's as if they had told me as a kid in the schoolyard that the ball is mine. Football has a role in society that's different from other sports." In the summer of 2021, he left the club, and his road ahead would not be without dramatic events. A hero in the war zone. He officially became the new head coach for the struggling SHAKHTAR Donetsk of Ukraine. His year at the club is one of the most turbulent stories of the footballing world. The club hadn't played a home game for 7 years because of the Russian aggression in the Donbass area. But in the fall of 2021, the situation was under control. The Italian led the team to his first trophy as a manager when SHAKHTAR beat rivals Dynamo Kiev in the Super Cup, and they were leading the league when the war of Ukraine broke out in February of last year. De Zerbi and his player were in Kiev at the time, and the Italian was asked if he wanted to leave the country. He refused and demanded to stay until his international players were safe. He spent many days in bomb rooms with his players in the Ukraine capital, before being rescued with all of his players after a 9-hour-long train ride from the Ukraine capital to the border of Poland. I slept in the room to understand what was happening outside of the hotel. When I heard a roar, I would go into the bunker. Then I would go back to my room after a few hours. In the aftermath of his escape, he led the team on the global tour of peace, where his players played against teams from Greece, Turkey, Poland, and Croatia. The aim for the tour was to raise funds for the Ukrainian people. He left the club in the summer of 2022 and was since hired by high-flying Brighton in the start of the season. Roberto De Zerbi has been through war and played the Robin Hood role of Italy. He speaks for the less fortunate and helps smaller clubs against the superior power. The Italian has sent Brighton to a European spot in the Premier League, and he's well known to love an underdog story. Is it possible for De Zerbi to take Brighton into the Europe next season? Can he win a trophy with them? Time will tell for the likable and faithful manager from Italy. Thanks for watching this video, and make sure to follow and subscribe for future videos from Untold Football. Do you have any ideas for an untold or interesting story in the footballing world? Please leave a comment after the video. We are here for the Untold Football Stories.